Hi everyone. I decided today that I was going to do the part 2 to the 7 guides hashtag that Ouroboros started, Natalia. And I already did my tarot, and I know there was a deeper meaning behind it where she wanted everyone to do an exercise after they had done their video. But I'm not going to get into that part of it. Personally, I'm just not. I feel like the decks that I picked and my descriptions of them for my tarot, and also for these for my oracle guides, kind of speak, I think, enough to how I feel about them and how I think about them. And yes, I do believe any deck that is close to you, and the reason that you're using it, it's because it is an aspect of yourself. You are the oracle. You are the different aspects. Deep down, you either know it or you don't, or you're trying to find that part of yourself and make it and own it. And I believe that's why we use tarot cards and oracle cards. It is to get in touch with ourselves. I mean, yes, you can use them to be predictive, and but there is definitely a lot of inner work that is a way of assisting you on your a spiritual journey, and that's the way I feel about it. I use them in both ways. The first deck, I have a couple of extra on this because I had more oracle decks than I realized. I really was a tarot person, but there have been certain oracles over the years that have just become a part of my not daily, well, these are weekly, the first ones that I'm going to show you. And I take a card from each of these first decks that I'm going to show, and I think about them all week long. There are aspects that I think I need to either work on, or things that I need to sort out with myself, or messages that I need to hear, because I'm not always, I think sometimes we know things, but we don't really want to know them. And this is definitely the decks that help me see things that I really need to be thinking about. The first one is no stranger to anyone, because I've seen it on some other people's list, and that is Brian Froud's The Fairy Oracle. I've had this deck for years. It's well loved, well worn in. I find the images are very otherworldly. Really, I think he's captured to what I believe the Fae are, and I do believe they were definitely brought to him in a way that people could see them and have a connection to them. Everything that other people have said about this deck is true. It's very it's not for the faint of heart. Let's just put it that way. It's brutally honest. It can be extremely intimidating, in your face at times, and kind of downright scary if you think of everything that they try to tell you and represent. And there is no, you're not in control of anything. It's a deck that in the past, cards have gone missing for me and then returned. The deck has disappeared and then returned. Right now, I would say the last 3 years that I've been working with it, it has been, I think we have finally come to a terms of we're in a routine and there is a mutual respect going on here. And I deeply, deeply, deeply love and respect this deck. It has given me such wise and honest guidance, and has helped me to face a lot of fears that I have as well. I think there is a lot to be said about using a deck that makes you feel uncomfortable. Sometimes because a deck makes you feel uncomfortable, I think it's kind of a cue that you need to be working with whatever voice or spirit is within that deck. For me, I've just always felt a connection to Celtic mythology, the Fae, and this deck, from the moment I got it, it was pretty much a trusted guide. Trusted in the sense that I know it's never going to hold back. And it can be very blunt, and at other times magical and mystical. So yeah, this is like I said, the Brian Proud Fairy Oracle, and like I said, I know this is on other people's lists. It was even on Talia's, I believe, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've seen her original video because I'm a bit behind in making. This is one of my feline. Just look at that face. And this one, that's a very big trickster. So yeah, this is the Brian Proud Fairy Oracle. I don't think there's an oracle that in regards to the Fae that can compare to it. The other one that I have on my list is Fairy of the She, and I think that's what known the She Oracle, or I think it was on Mary Grace's and some others as well. And that Tarot of the She. Sorry, that's on my list. But as far as an oracle, this has been the closest. I mean, it's so it's just worn. All the cards are worn, and I can't picture myself without it. Yeah, trusted guide. And this is in no particular order, although that is I have to, let's be honest, I'd have to put them first or I'm going to have problems. My second deck is Oracle deck that is on my altar, and this also gets a weekly card, is the Isis Oracle by Alana Fairchild. It comes with a great book. This is another one that I don't think I have to go into too much about it. I have always loved things Egyptian as well. Isis, I've always felt a connection to her. And this deck, I think, is just amazing. I'm sorry if there's a glare. These cards are very, 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 very shiny. But again, I know this is not a stranger. This deck is not a stranger to everyone. But just the images of her are just beautiful. The deck is beautiful, and I have such a connection to her. Far from my Celtic roots, but those are the two things that I've always been drawn to since I was very young, is Egyptology and Celtic mythology. The back of the cards are gorgeous. And like I said, this is a staple. This is one that, like I said, it's on my altar at all times. It's never not there. And I look forward every week to drawing that one card, and whatever card I draw, it's something that I think about all week long. It's always there in the back of my head. But the images are just gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful deck. And the guidebook is excellent. And yeah, I can't say enough about it. It's one of my favorite decks. And like I said, I don't think there's some better imagery of Isis. And if you're looking to become connected to her and work with her energy, I can't recommend this deck enough. And the artwork is so varied. I think that's another thing I like about it. And so I always feel like I'm getting a different view of her, a different connection. It's just beautiful. So yes, that is the Isis Oracle by Alana Fairchild. And that, like I said, is always on my altar. Let's see, the next one that is always on my altar as well, this also gets weekly pull, is this deck that I absolutely fell in love with it when I first saw it on YouTube, and I immediately knew I had to get this deck. And this is the Earthly Souls and Spirit Oracle cards, and by Terry Foss. I got one of the first ones. It comes in the little tuck box. The backs have the artwork of different moon phases on them. And they just have one keyword on them, but I always, again, this is one where the message that I pull, the card that I pull, is usually something that I'm going to be working on or something I need to hear. I just love her artwork. It just is, to me, amazing. It's just beautiful. Sometimes I, will focus on the keyword. Sometimes it's the artwork itself. I just love that, of course. I love black cats. I have one. Or sometimes it's a combination. It really all depends. But just love them. I love the colors in it. That one's beautiful too. They're all beautiful. What am I, who am I trying to kid? Every single one of these images I absolutely adore. And this is a deck that I could just sit and flip through and instantly feel at peace and connected. I find it very grounding. And comforting. But I just love her artwork. But I know that there's other flip throughs of this deck, so I won't go into too many, but even that one. And I love how the artwork is so varied too in this one. Gorgeous, gorgeous deck. So that was the Terry Foss Earthly Souls. Earthly Souls and Spirit Song. I dropped the box. And like I said, this one, I don't know if it came in different boxes. This is one of the first editions, so I'm not sure how many she did after this one. But yes, so that one is always on my altar as well. The other one that is always on my altar is another deck that I actually got from Racine and her Owl Moon 513. I believe that's her channel. I mess it up all the time. Poor Racine. But I've been watching her for years, and she did a whole series on this with the creator, the messenger cards and guidance from the animal spirits by Sandra Kuntz. And I am not an animal deck kind of a person. I have decks that have animals in them, but to have one that's strictly all animal or wildlife, I don't normally have that. But this deck, absolutely amazing, beautiful. This is the backs. It has the image of the animal, and then there's one word, and then the guidebook on what the meaning of it, and just things that you can do to work with the message that's in the card. And I actually do use the guidebook with this only because I think it's amazing, and the message and her writing seems very connected. It's like the guidebook and the guidebook. I'll get it in a minute. And the images are like they're connected. And for me, the message and the image just they go hand in hand. I can look at them and get, but overall it is just an animal and one keyword. So I definitely find that the intuition and the way that she drew the artwork and the meaning behind what she was drawing and what she saw and what messages she was receiving from these animal guides. Still don't like spiders. Yeah, it's just gorgeous. And again, I like the varied artwork in it. I love this one. It's one of my favorites. So this again is one that I pull weekly from, and I really do have such a connection to this deck. And that's again the Messenger cards, and that's by Sandra Kuntz. Okay, I think that's it for the ones that are actually on my wall, my altar and weekly draws. And then at the end I have one other one that is weekly, but the rest of them are now daily. These are cards that I work with on a daily basis. Let me get this right. Some of them I'm working with on a daily basis. Some of them because it's every month I pick 3 tarot decks and 3 oracle decks to work with, and so I will work for them, the tarot decks and the oracles in conjunction with each other. The oracle cards will clarify the tarot cards, and so one for each of the tarot cards that I draw, and then so that's done daily. So, but the decks rotate. The only ones that don't rotate are 2, and those 2 are daily draws. And if anybody's been watching me at any point in time, they know that this is my all-time favorite oracle deck. Huge connection to this deck, and it's She Who Cannot Be Named, Ascended Masters Oracle deck, Doreen Virtue. I can't imagine going through my day without having a card from this deck every single time. And the messages usually a spot on what I need to be doing. The artwork, not always a fan. I think I've said this before. It's a Doreen deck, and but some of them I absolutely love. This is one of them. I like the Michael one as well, and he's actually on the back. So yeah, I like the Archangel Michael card that I showed as well. Some of the artwork is not and others, again, I'm a huge purple and pastel person, so you can kind of get where I'm going. But the different Ascended Masters, absolutely amazing. And like I said, not all of the artwork is going to be for everyone, but some of these I had never heard of until I started working with them, and I'm certainly not going to try to pronounce that name. But teacher, things that come up, the messages, like I said, are always spot on and something that I need to be thinking about and working with for the day. And it is like an ascended master from all sorts of religion, and spiritual practices. And if anybody's been watching my channel, that's why I call myself a hodgepodge, because I do actually, feel a connection to all types of religion, spirituality. I don't believe there's one correct way, one correct answer. That's a beautiful card too. And I just love, I've always been one to study different theological ideas, philosophies. I just love that. So, so yeah, this is my Ascended Masters Oracle deck, and this is by Doreen Virtue. I also have the book that goes to this, and it's part of my daily practice, and it will always be part of my daily practice. The next one that I draw from every day is also a Doreen Virtue deck. This is just one of the new ones that I got that had been on my wish list, and I think I'd already shown it, and I got it at my local metaphysical store. It was their store copy. I got this, like I said, it's always been on my wish list, and it's getting to the point where I saw it and I thought, well, I'm just going to get it, because the ones that just have her name are not going to be available, you know, after they're gone. So this is the Crystal Angels Oracle cards, and I'm really, really enjoying having this part of my daily draws. I love the idea of having a card with a stone. I love crystals and stones, but a lot of them, I don't have every single stone that I would like to have. And this is an easy way to quickly get a connection to a stone, even if I have it. It's an easy way to get it, and then the message and what the stone means in relation to this, the message. And it's putting in a little message that you have every day. And this again is another deck where I tend to keep, in the couple of months that I've had it, there's some of these cards in here I've never pulled. I never get them, but I get the same ones a lot. Like, there's a series of them that I tend to get, and so it's, you know, I find that, and the ones that I keep pulling are ones that are things that I need to be looking at and working on. I look at it like there's a certain aspect that I need to have from the stone, whatever one I'm pulling, and I need to be working on the little message. But they're absolutely beautiful. I just love them. I love the colors in them, and like I said, I just love the crystals, because I am so I just love crystals, and this, like I said, it's an easy way to get a quick good night. And it's also dealing with angel images, which I do enjoy. So yeah, that's another oracle deck that I use every day now that I've got it. The next decks are ones that I've been working with for this month, and these are fairly new to my collection, and I have been really enjoying them. I'm working with them this month, and the first one that I'm going to mention is the Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Absolutely, this is at the top of my. It's now become such a part of my. Just working with it for the month of November, I just can see myself using this deck very, very often. The cards, the images are just beautiful. I love the different moon phases that are represented, and the imagery is just gorgeous. I'm really, I'm going to be working with different oracles for December, and I'm going to miss this one for a while. And it's like to the point where I might have to be adding another daily oracle to my daily pulls, because I just love it. I'm really going to be sad when I move on to another deck, but I really have. I really think that this is one that's going to be, and that's why it is in my top 7. Like I said, I've got a couple more extra over the 7. But yeah, of all my Oracle decks, I knew this one was going to have to be in my top 7 now after working with it for a month. I can't picture myself not. I look forward to it every morning. And this is another one. This is another deck. Well, I guess that happens with everyone. I don't think I'm unique in this, that when you can call them stalker cards or what, but there's some cards in this deck that I have yet to even pull, and I do get the same ones over and over again. But absolutely gorgeous. I'm enjoying working with a little guidebook that comes with it, and it's, I say little, but it's a good sized chunky book, and I love that the cards have color. Oh, look at that. I opened right to that moon, and that is the Wolf Moon and Hunger. And I like that each time it has a little saying. It's in gold here, but I'll read what this one says. And I'll take that saying, the quote, and that's something that I'll think about and work on. And this is really basically the old Cherokee story about which wolf would you feed. The little quote says, "I recognize all that I hunger for." And it's about which wolf wins, and it's the one you feed. I love that story. So yeah, so it tells you about the moon. So that's the wolf moon, and then there's a little story or analogy to go with it that explains the card. There's the one that's on the book, Sovereignty, and that was Queen of the Moon. So yeah, this one it's like I said, I worked with it for a month now, and I can't picture it not being in my life, and definitely has to be up there with my top 7 guides. The messages have been amazing, and things that and definitely as far as clarifying the tarot cards that I pull with it, that has been amazing as well. Very, very impressed with that deck, and absolutely love it. The next one, also no stranger. This was also on a lot of people's, is the Angels and Ancestors. Absolutely love it. I'm sure whatever I'm saying, everyone else is saying. Between the angels and the ancestors and the way they're pictured, and the keywords and the guidebook and what it gives for a message, and just I have been thoroughly enjoying this deck as well, to the point where I've been working with it exclusively, like I said, for this month with my tarot cards, and each card has been a message that I really have needed to work on. November is really my shadow month, and I have found this Oracle deck to be very, very helpful. It's just beautiful. Like I said, I know everyone has a great teacher. There's nothing, like I said, from my Catholic upbringing, images that are Christ-like don't bother me. I've taken away from my Catholic experience the messages of Christ and what I think his message was, which was not what the church has turned it into, in my opinion. But yeah, this is a great, great deck. I know it's everybody, like I said, it's been on a lot of people's lists as their guides. It's something that I will always work with. Can't picture being without this now in my life since I've got it, and absolutely love it. So my last deck, I think that's my last one. Is it my last one? Yeah. I think this is my last one. And like I said, I don't really consider this to be, it's not your typical oracle deck, and this is another one, has made some of the others that have done this hashtag have also included it in its soul cards 1 and 2. I combine mine and I keep them together, even though, you know, they have different backings as far as, you know, one's red and one's blue. But it comes with a little book, but there are no, the images are what you make them. It's nothing that, and this is by Deborah Cockchapin. It's nothing, the book's not going to tell you anything. It gives you some suggestions on how to work with the cards. But as far as, like, there's no meanings, because the meanings are, it reminds me of those, you know, ink blots, and I can't, for the life of me. When you're supposed to look at it and see, you know, what do you see in the card. But yeah, so I pull these weekly, and I pull 2 cards weekly, and then I journal about them. You can do it this way, I think it doesn't matter. But these images are absolutely amazing to me. I'm amazed what I see. At first I was a bit intimidated, saying, well, you know, who am I to try and say what this means? But then again, then I thought, well, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks about it. It is what are you seeing? What does it mean to you? And that's all that matters. This is an example of the red backs on it. There is no right or wrong to what you see. Those are the blue backs. And it really does speak, I think, when you see these images, it is down to a deeper level, to the unconscious level, to your inner spirit. And it's a way for them to be talking, for your spirit to be talking to you through these cards, using the images. You can hear the inner voice in this deck. Highly, highly recommend Soul Cards 1 and 2. I absolutely love this deck. And again, this is another one. It's weekly. This is something I pull weekly, but I could absolutely not picture myself now without these cards. So I had to add this in to my list, as well as like the Moon Oracle. I know I have more than 7 here, but yeah, that's just me. These are the cards that I work with, and I have incorporated into my spiritual practice, and what I get from them, it's even hard to explain, and how far I've come just using all of these oracles. And when I first started off, like, I was a tarot person, I never thought that I would actually need oracles, but once I got them, I really do enjoy them, and I am now always on the lookout for different oracles that I can incorporate into my tarot work, because I do think having the oracle card as a clarifier is very, very helpful, because sometimes I find it's a way of keeping yourself kind of honest, because I think with the tarot, I know the tarot so well, and you know the standard meanings, and I think especially since right now when I'm reading for myself, and that's the whole point of my daily draws, I know this is Simon's favorite image. I think he got this like in a picture to frame. It's beautiful too. I think I know the tarot so well that and I think when you read for yourself, there is a tendency to gloss over or not see some of the deeper meaning of the cards. And I think that's, sometimes you can get stalker cards, but sometimes I think, you know, you're just not hearing the message. And even though you can get the same message in even different cards in tarot, I think, like I said, I think sometimes there's a block. And then when you throw in the Oracle card has a way of opening it up and saying, well, no, you might want to hear, you may be giving yourself that answer, but it really is trying to tell you this. Because, yeah. So I like using a clarifier with my tarot draws every day. And I have found this deck very helpful. This is for my weekly. But the ones that I do for the daily in conjunction with my tarot, I really do. I don't see myself not using Oracle and tarot together, I guess is what I'm trying to say in a really long way. But if you've hung in this long, I appreciate it, and thank you for watching. And if you want to, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully I'll have some more content up, maybe later day, maybe at the end of the week, seeing how Thanksgiving goes, and how much time I have. But yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and blessings. Bye.